Good Tuesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and SUVs and motorcycles and the dogs and the yard. And good morning there. Thanks for tuning to my channel. If you're a new one or the regulars are watching me, appreciate the support. And wow, it's the humidity factor. It's Florida. Not totally Florida, but boy, oh boy. These heavy rains that came in yesterday brought in a lot. No, Willow, come on, get over here. Isn't Willow the dominant thing here around here? But the humidity is big time here, and I mean borderline the Florida type of atmosphere. So what's going on with that in the dog days of summer? I got lots of dogs. Yeah, these expensive dogs today. More than ever, dogs are very expensive. Come on, pups. If you want to go buy a dog. If you are searching for a nice new puppy, you'll find out very quickly a purebred dog is very expensive. Yes, what's created that, right? So, yeah, the puppy mills that kind of got shut down, I guess. Who knows, right? Anyways, wow, green, everything green up here. All the rain. I can't stay ahead of cutting the grass. Weed whacking. Oh, the pond. It just doesn't end. And so anyways, I thought today's conversation could be about the expensive, how everything's so expensive. Come on, pups! Come on, get in! Yeah, I gotta get going. I just kind of got one of those mornings where I gotta get my coffee in me and get the day going. But look at the shop. I spent time yesterday rearranging my shop, and I gotta get the motorcycles on the battery tenders. Because if you don't do that, then anybody who owns motorcycles or anything that sits for a while, eventually the battery dies. So we get the dogs in here because they'll be running amok otherwise. And yeah, so I thought this morning's conversation could be how expensive everything is today. And it seems to be a dominant word in our economy. So here's the motorcycles. And yesterday I made a few short videos talking about how it's so ridiculous that you buy a new motorcycle and the dealership can't put a little cable on here. This is a little cable that connects to your battery that enables you to plug it into a battery tender, powers the battery, and it massages the battery, keeps the battery healthy. And I'm just blown away that all these motorcycle dealerships that get these bikes in and put them together don't put a cable on these bikes to make it so you can charge a battery. Some of Hondas, I mean, I know you can ask the dealership to do that, but why wouldn't they just do it? And Harley has kind of started making that the norm for the most part, and which that's nice. But the Indian dealership, so it's kind of a hit or miss. Depends what dealership you're dealing with, but once again, it should just be a factory normal thing. Now, I've got one problem, either with a battery charger here, or the bike's got a bad battery. I don't know. Look at that. My little power supply. Never seen my power supply for all my battery tenders. Can you even imagine how many battery tenders I own and need for all my motorcycles? And yesterday, that battery tender cable, for some reason, when I was riding the motorcycle, it got spliced, so I had to redo that one on a Harley. But anyways, it's all about keeping these bikes charged up, because if anybody owns a motorcycle, they know that you let a bike sit a while to go to start it up, and it's not going to start. In fact, the red motorcycle, the red Indian, yesterday, that battery was totally dead. That sat in Florida for so long, and somebody unplugged the battery tender down there in Florida. So that one's had a challenge. But anyways, so that was kind of my afternoon adventures and projects, was getting the garage a little more organized. Look at this. You think I own a motorcycle dealership? I mean, one guy on the YouTube comments said this MFer is just showing all his bikes to sell his bikes. I'm like, what are you talking about? I even comment like, what? What is that comment? So anyways, yeah, is this stuff expensive? I have an expensive collection of vehicles. If you look around my property and you're watching my channel, you can say, yeah, this guy has a serious expensive addiction. Too bad I wasn't Warren Buffett minded type of person, because I'd be richer than rich for spending my money in other areas of buying stocks like Apple. And it's interesting, they're sharing the Wall Street Journal this morning, a whole Berkshire Hathaway or Hathaway Berkshire, whatever the hell you call it, conversation about how Warren Buffett's investing into the new home builders. DR, I think Horton and NVR or something like that, Lennar, whatever the name of these home builders are. So, wow, it's hot up here. Definitely hot. We gotta get the air conditioning going on. Is everybody present? Everybody's present on this Tuesday morning of work and projects. Right, puppies? So, conversation going and get some coffee in me and get the day rolling here where it's very, very humid. So much like Florida. Watch out, Will. Look at my other fan going. But yeah, I thought to myself, I have lots of conversations, and I really do. I have to search my own channel and say, did I talk about that before? Because there's so many things to talk about, but at the same time, I could be repetitive, and it isn't the end of the world on that. It could be a different angle of what I talk about. So yeah, I just thought to myself, expensive. We're living in, I think, the most expensive times ever. I mean, isn't everything just so expensive? I mean, yesterday, I just been hacking on cars.com, and I looked up the Ford Mustang Mach-E, and I did a 50-mile search. Over 400 Mustang Mach-E's for sale. I swear, the last time I did that, here a while back, it was maybe 100. It seems like there was 50. I can't even remember. I'd have to go search for all my freaking videos and never find the exact time frame of the video. But did you just hear me? If you go 100 miles radius, over 500 Mustang Mach-E's are for sale, sitting on dealers' lots. Yeah, what's going on? They're too expensive. The general public can't. The general public's learning, I would only hope, through a channel like mine and other channels and word of mouth, that these electric vehicles aren't really saving you the amount of money you think you're saving. So I think a lot of people have woken up and be like, you know what? Spending $70,000, $60,000 for an electric vehicle, not a very even big vehicle, and in the end, to really save any money, then I hear the constant conversations of the charging stations and the traveling with them, and I think most people are like, you know what? I would rather own a nice hybrid vehicle. I would rather just own a nice gas Honda Civic or whatever it may be, and if it gets 25 to 30 miles per gallon, I'm good. I mean, even though the gasoline prices, the barrel of oil, it's just crazy. It really is just befuddling of where we are in today's administration and the leaders of this country and big business of what they're doing to our country. It's just on one hand you hear this story, on another hand you hear that story. Just like I was talking about, the new builders are going at rapid pace of building brand new homes because people don't want to sell their existing home because they're trapped. I mean, you can't make these stories up to think about what's going on in our country, where people were having a heyday of buying a house, living there for a year or two, selling it, and making more money out of it, and enabling them to get to a bigger home. Well, that whole routine has totally died because of much higher interest rates, the most expensive in recent times, in 10 plus years, to borrow money to buy a house. It's the most expensive time ever now to buy a house because of the interest rates and because of the price of a home. So a person that sells their home can't, they're going to be going backwards, meaning they're going to be spending more money for maybe just a different looking home. Maybe it's a little bigger, but it's going to be a big difference in payment. So the new home builders are having a field day because they see a huge opportunity where people will not sell their homes now. So they're creating new homes to give people that want to buy a home a home. So, and that's why Warren Buffett, I mentioned here, will go upstairs. is investing heavily into these companies because he sees what's going to play out because of the high interest rates is not going down anytime soon. Inflation, they're already speculating we're going to have some numbers on inflation for July to show that, yeah, inflation's not taming down. And then what's interesting, though, you look at Warren Buffett's portfolio, the 5 top companies he's invested in is Apple. He has close to $200 billion value in Apple. Then he has Bank of America. Oh my gosh, I remember Bank of America back in like 2009 or 10. It was like a 20-cent stock. Wow. Why didn't I buy some damn stock? Jesus Christ. Wow. I mean, anybody bought that stock up by the thousands of dollars? That's a huge windfall. And then he has American Express, Coca-Cola, and Chevron. That's his main portfolio, I guess. If you want to say domestic, I guess is that his portfolio. I'm not much into that Berkshire Hathaway's, following that. If you know what I mean. So, but Warren Buffett sees that the heyday for the new home builders is going to start to pan out big time. But then at the other end of the spectrum is lots of people, investors, are rounding up huge, millions, if not billions of dollars because of the commercial real estate industry is getting ready to fall on its face in so many aspects. There already is. Some of the smaller investments of these real estate buildings could be apartment buildings, could be office buildings, could be malls. They're finally starting to raise their hand and walk away or let this debt be sold for substantially, lesser than it was worth pre-pandemic. So all these investors see a heyday of picking up very cheap real estate, commercial real estate, and being able to grow their portfolio through the market adjustment. And it's so interesting to hear all these types of conversations that on the one end, you hear about how expensive it is. On the other end, you hear about how things are faltering. But for you and I, we're not seeing the immediate decrease in expenses. Is anybody seeing the gasoline prices go down, diesel prices go down? No, the world market, that's a whole other thing that's so befuddling. We just sold 40 million barrels of oil to the Asia countries. Swiss country, it's just, it's just so misinformation, misleading. Does anybody understand that's a Joe Biden fan, that's the Green Agenda fan, that the big oil companies are still producing oil at record pace and making record profits? Under Joe Biden, the oil companies have made their biggest profits ever. Is anybody listening to this? Does anybody get this stuff? Okay, so all right, you're saying like, yeah, you're picking on Joe Biden. All right, whoever's in charge in this administration, whoever's policies are in this administration, forget Joe Biden. The administration that's in power, that aka Barack Obama, Michelle Obama. The reality is this administration is giving big business record windfall profits. Is it hello? You'll argue with somebody about this stuff, and it's like we are the most expensive economy in modern times. I'm talking modern times. I'm not going to say it's the most expensive economy ever in this country. I'm saying in modern times. I would say in the last 12 to 20 years. I'll just be very conservative with that. The automotive manufacturers, come on. What's going on with Ford? I talk about Ford all the time. Ford has in the market all these Mustang Mach-E's that aren't selling because they're too expensive. They built too expensive a business model. They can't get rid of them. Tesla, once again, has just cut their prices on their Model S and Model X SUV by another $10,000 each, respectively. But here's the kicker. They've put a smaller battery pack in the car, so the cars now have a less range capability. So you're not getting, per se, a $10,000 discount off that Model X. You're getting a lower valued vehicle. The Model S, same thing. But now you have to say to yourself, are the real numbers going to be really the real numbers? Instead of 330 miles, and your Model X or whatever it may be is now 286 miles? Is that the real story anyways? So yeah, even Tesla, Elon Musk is even raising his hand, going, "Yeah, these cars are too expensive. We have to discount." But even that, these are still like $78,000, $88,000 cars. The Model S I think is at 78, maybe 74. I'm just going off what I read at 2 a.m. in the morning. The Model X I think is like 84 or 88, $1,000. And then you go, you want a few extra options. Oh yeah, you creep up to the 90. Yeah, so then you think, and they're supposed to start delivering them like in September and October. But then you go to the dealership and they just get finagled into, well, the lease payment's only $100 more a month, and you get the bigger range one. We kind of all know it lures you into the dealership, and how does that usually play out at the end, right? So Elon Musk, wow, this guy's Mr. X. This guy's fixated X. We all know that the denominator X variable in mathematics is 10. I think in Roman times, Greek times, whatever you want to look at, so many years ago, X was considered 50. But did you know? I didn't even know this. Did you know Elon Musk has had 3 ladies in his life and he's produced 10 kids? I never knew that. Yes, Elon Musk has 10 kids. And the reason I bring this up, Elon Musk is donating money to the University of Texas for the continued push for popularization. For the world needs to continue to populate, and not pull back. And there's a lot of people like AOC out of New York that will, preach you need to quit having kids, and she'll preach lots of things that seem to make a lot of sense to everybody that follows that lady's routine. So yeah, so Elon Musk, 10. Now you have to say to yourself, the guy's fixated on 10. SpaceX, AI, artificial intelligence. X platform. It used to be Twitter platform. Model X. X company. He has 3 X's or 2 X's, right, for his spouses, right? It's the X of the X, the factor, the variable, the math. He's the numbers man. And so here's another thing that's, boy, I tell you, talk about getting expensive. Wow, it's artificial intelligence. So if you're a computer scientist or a computer mathematician, or the data code guy, you are in hot demand right now in many sectors of the artificial intelligence. The generative pre-trained transfer, aka Chat GPT, these major Netflix, media houses, the major organizations are wanting to get this artificial intelligence to come to life and using this more than ever in their businesses. They're looking for incredibly talented people that have these degrees, and there's some of these positions are commanding possibly $900,000 incomes, with packages of stock options and bonuses and commissions. You could be over $1 million a year. Now, keep in mind, it's like anything else. There's going to be a dime a dozen of those jobs available. But the artificial intelligence, for those people out there that are the computer, legitimate people that really know all this technology, that are really interfacing with this artificial intelligence, your availability and your sought after hot market right now is big time. So major corporations are wanting your knowledge, and so they're saying, that there's some companies that are offering $300,000, $400,000 a year incomes with packages. Bare minimum, you're at 140. So the next big thing, the code was such a big thing, but now the artificial intelligence has created for the companies a very expensive payroll to get these creative individuals that can help them get this artificial intelligence incorporated into their business model to help them be one step ahead of the competition. And now the Writers Guild strike, it seems like they're maybe coming to the table. Netflix CEO's involved. NBC, Iger, he's involved. So it sounds like these striking, journalists, writers, actors, there's like 11,000, union members of this strike right now that's holding up all the nighttime shows and future sitcom skits and everything else. Apparently, they're getting closer to come to terms on what they feel is a fair agreement, and the heavy word is artificial intelligence, where these, the skit writers or the people who are writing these series and creating these movies and documentaries, they're being assured that their artificial intelligence is not going to replace them. They're being assured that whatever they produce can be tracked and be rewarded back to them, and a percentage of monies earned to them for whatever they bring to the table that maybe somebody tries to circumvent through artificial intelligence. So sounds like the nighttime shows may be coming back sooner than you realize, possibly. Yeah, so but it's but it's going to be more expensive. So everything, they're already, apparently all these, I don't know if it's Netflix, but apparently all these, I think it's NBC or Disney or whoever, they've raised their premiums on, I guess, your media content that you can watch. You have to pay more money. So back to the car industry. The car industry, for me, we know, is at the most expensive yet to date. I mean, I think, what is it? The average new car price is now either $46,000 or $48,000. The used car market's still rather healthy. You're not finding just anything for a giveaway price, and these manufacturers are still bringing newer products to market that are, in my views, very expensive, technology-driven cars. And I've talked about Cadillac in great depth yesterday. And here's Dodge getting released the Hornet. It's so, to me, it's like barf material. To watch Dodge hype this SUV Dodge Hornet, it's embarrassing. I mean, I don't know. If I was somebody, I would leave the company. That's how bad it is. I mean, it's just like, are you kidding me? This is the excitement of the Dodge brand. A Ford Escape will look like. I mean, it looks like the Ford Escape. I mean, it's so bad. Yeah, so is that thing going to be expensive? I would imagine it is. I mean, for what you're getting out of it is what I'm saying. Is it worth a package you get out of a car? What's the price? I don't even know. I mean, I don't even want to look at the commercials. It's hideous. It's embarrassing to be a Mopar guy and the muscle car guy, and it's all about the grunt and the noise. And to see Dodge toe heeling to all this green agenda, that's the whole thing. This is the most expensive economy and government-backed ever in modern times because of the Inflation Reduction Act and the AKA, the New Green Deal, where the amount of money is being handed out. I've said it a gazillion times on my channel, but it's creating everything to be so expensive. And yet, it just seems like there's such a division in our country right now between the Donald Trump supporters, the Joe Biden supporters, and all it is attack the Donald Trump, the never-ending Democratic Party attacking Donald Trump beyond believable, beyond believable, beyond believable. That's the main headlines just about every day of the media machine is something about what Donald Trump did wrong in some aspects. You can go to the Joe Biden side, but who cares? Forget those two people. Let's look at each other and say, we have a country that's faltering. We have a country that's becoming too expensive to live in. The homelessness has grown by 11% this year. Typically, homelessness is about a 2% growth rate in our country. This year, it's 11%. It's because the housing is too expensive. People just can't afford anymore. People are being evicted out of their homes. People are being evicted out of the rental. As we know, the pandemic sheltered a lot of people from having to pay rent and pay their house payment. Well, those days have pretty much come to an end. So now they're seeing a record number of people that are becoming homeless. So this is a major problem for the inner cities and the suburbans where you see these people. I mean, I witness it. I'm out on the road every day in this D.C. metro, Washington, D.C., Baltimore metro area, and I see so many people standing on the corner begging for money. I mean, I think a lot of them got a gig. I mean, I'm not so sure that all these people are really homeless that walk up behind the shopping center and get in their BMW and drive home laughing all the way home. They collect another $100 cash for 3-4 hours of panhandling. So Man, may even be getting unemployment. Who the hell knows? I mean, but at the same time, there's a lot of sad stories of the homelessness. So I just think, wow, the media machine continues to focus on these two individuals in our country, and the point the finger, the blame game, and then the division of one person that thinks that this person is better than the other person. But yet, just step back and say to yourself, yeah, okay. But do you understand that we are at the most expensive economy yet to date? And you feel good about the leaders of this country. They're enriching big business more than ever. They're enriching, I mean, it sounds critical to big oil because so many people are attacking big oil. But big oil, the barrel of oil is back into the 80. In the world market, it's at 90. Okay, so we're in the $82, 81 barrel. The world market's at 90. And that's what's so aggravating is we've got these world leaders that sat back and watched Russia invade Ukraine, and which has created more havoc in the world oil market that has created the higher energy prices. And you got Saudi Arabia playing the game, cutting production. But then you have the IEA saying in 2024, the world demand for oil is going to drop. Okay? And yet here's another conversation. It's totally, you just, on one hand, you just say, huh? On the other hand, you're like, okay, China's economy is tanking. It's faltering. China is under distress. Okay, well, all right. So what's going on with the world market of oil where China sucks up so much of it, but China's economy is faltering and they're not doing as well, so they're not buying as much coal and oil? So what's the deal with the expensive energy? I mean, oh my gosh. It's just anybody that I know that was any like me or different than me, you just have to step back and go, these messages just don't make sense. Oh my goodness, there's so much information anymore to read and talk about things. And then I get on the Wall Street Journal and everybody's tarnishing the one candidate, the former candidate. Oh my gosh. And just, it turns into just like, yeah, but I just don't understand where we are in today's country. I mean, more than ever, where we are in today's country, at this sitting government and this sitting administration, I just, for me as an individual, I just say, how? I mean, just divorce yourself from your political party. Just divorce yourself. Just look around at what's going on. I mean, right now, if you think about it, we've got the highest crime rate in modern times, right? We've seen the highest suicides, the highest drug overdose, the highest homelessness, the highest lawlessness. The district attorneys have raised the level of what people will be punished for, so you can get away with a lot more without being punished by stealing things. We're seeing on social media all the time of people going into stores and just taking whatever they want, and no harm done to them except the stores. You see the China relations in our country are not the greatest at the time. Our Russia relations are terrible. We're handing out billions of dollars to a war, finance for Ukraine. We're seeing the oppression for the women's rights in so many ways. I mean, this makes no sense to me on how we see this constant transgender, makeup of a male to a female that is dominating the woman, and it's accepted. And to me, it's like, oh my gosh, what is going on? The woman's rights are being oppressed, suppressed, oppressed, whatever you want to say. I mean, if you look about what's going on right now, more than ever, women are being dominated by men in women's clothes, and it's an acceptable thing in our current society of the social media machine. And oh my gosh, I mean, what's that all about? We've had the racial divisions now more are being ramped up again. That we're trying to point the finger at because you look one way, I look another way. That's the problem. I mean, we're trying to live back to the history of what created this country. The education standards, where we are in today's education, is at its lowest level in modern times of younger children, especially the inner cities. Huge problem. I mean, it's just wow. I mean, and the economy supposedly is doing great, but yet I get this foreclosure.com email. I signed up for the foreclosure thing last year just to see how many foreclosures start playing out in different markets. And here lately, there are a lot of foreclosures, but you don't really hear about it. Just like the car repos, dear. I mean, is it really happening? Are people really defaulting? I mean, is it that big? I don't know. Just the main media, the mainstream media, is all about two people. One named Joe Biden, one named Donald Trump. That's the main focal point, day in day out, of our whole mass media brainwashing. I don't watch news. I'll read the news on the internet, but I don't watch the news because these journalists, these personalities, tell you what to think. And you can see the individuals so easily when you start talking to somebody that they just watch CNN all the time or they watch Fox News all the time. I mean, it just comes out quickly because they're repeating what these media journalists spew all day long. That's what they do, spew all day long their views and ideas. But yet, on one side of the party, these people that support one, they don't really do anything to help it, or the other side. Anyways, kind of leave it at that. A little more political this morning, but hey, it's about the expensive economy. And it just seems that we have the powers to be that are presently in charge. And it just seems as if it's just okay. Everybody's just on the page. Well, it is what it is because the excuses. It's all about excuses. Well, this created that and that. No. I mean, the policies that have been passed. Don't you understand the policies that have been passed that created what's going on? I mean, that's what's so. And then we have a sitting former president sitting down in D.C. that's dictating the powers that be. I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, just hello, what's going on? Why don't more people start just raising their voices and say it's just not acceptable? It's not acceptable. People do listen. I mean, if you do get enough people that show up in the local community and start pounding their fists about the ridiculousness of what's going on in their neighborhoods and everything else, it will make people go back to trying to create law and order. Wow. All right, everybody, hey, that's it. Leave it at that. Long video, a lot of talking. Some people have no desire to hear it. I hear you, but that's the problem. We live in a society today. People are like, I don't want to hear it. I want nothing to do with it. And then what happens out of all that is the people that are getting away with it, it just grows and gets bigger. So there's our challenge. So anyways, hope everybody has a great day. God bless, stay safe. And what am I doing next? I have no idea. So stay tuned for more adventures and have a great day.